Hi guys. Hello. Welcome. This is my first time wearing this. It's so weird. It's gonna take a while to get used to it. Welcome to Zoo Classroom. I'm Nikki. I will be your host today. Before we get started, I gotta go over the rules. Do them really quick. All right, ready? You guys are muted. Probably know that. Figured that out. Just better for everybody. Have lots of questions for you guys. Put your answers to my questions in the chat box. I'm sure you guys know how to do this. Some of you guys have been joining us for quite a while, which we really appreciate, by the way. That's awesome. Questions for us, go in that Q&A box. Remember? So my questions for you, answers in the chat. Questions for us, go in the Q&A, and Megan's here to help me get those questions from you guys.
Yay!
And all right, let's get started on Creepy Crawlies Part 2. So today, I don't know if you guys noticed when you came in today, there was a picture of an animal that Miss Beth was sharing. So what are we talking about today? What creepy crawlies do you think we're going to focus on today? Last time, it was the invert family. If you remember our lovely song.
Yes.
So what question or what we're going to do today?
There's a lot of emojis in the chat.
Okay. Let's see. I see a snake. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. You're right. We are doing snake misconceptions. There we go. All right, there you go. All right, so we're going to talk about, there's lots of different stories about snakes, and we're going to kind of, we got about 8 of them we're going to go over, and we're going to see what those misconceptions are. And let me ask you, what is a misconception, guys? What do you guys think a misconception is? A big fan, big word, misconception. What do you think that means? And I don't know why. This is doing weird things.
Well, because it's technology.
Yeah, of course it is. So we're a little short-staffed here, so I'm kind of doing 2 rules. So we are
misconceptions. Good, bad, crazy guesses, anything?
Yep. What's it mean? Misconception, big word. No, that's all right. You don't have to guess. So it's basically kind of, to me, it's like it's a belief or something, like in something that maybe probably not very true, has a little false, but sometimes it has a little bit of truth to it, because a lot of times, like, people used to think the world was flat, right? We used to think the world was flat. And then science came in and they were able to prove that it was round. And so that's kind of where so people had theories and stories about things because they couldn't study them. They couldn't figure them out. They didn't have the means to do that. And so we have all these kind of old stories about them. And so some of them are completely false. Some of them are a little bit true. And some of them might still be true. So I want you guys to help me out and find out which ones you think might be true, false, or maybe a little bit of both. Right? Because there's a little bit, sometimes there's a little bit of tiny little negative truth in some of these stories that we get, that we hear about sometimes. So our first one, this one I hear a lot. Some snakes are poisonous. Let's start off with a good one. So what do you guys think? Some snakes are poisonous. Is that true, false, or a little bit of both? What do you guys think?
Anna says true.
True. Okay.
Joey says true.
Okay.
Yeah, true.
Some
all
trues
right.
Coming up.
Oh, Steve says poisonous. One of the true. All really. Wow. Okay.
Well, that's why we're here. We're learning about snakes, different things that people hear about. So this one is all the above. So it's false in the fact that poisonous is different than venomous. Does anybody know their difference? There's poisonous and then there's venomous. Do you know the difference between poisonous and venomous? Anybody can tell me the difference? Anybody knows the difference between poisonous and venomous? I feel like I can see myself dancing over here, so it's really weird. Let's see.
So that's right, Steve. Yep, poisonous is not the same as venomous.
All right. Let me ask you this. Is this animal right here, this is a cottonmouth, is this poisonous or is this venomous? Let's see. What do you guys think? Very quiet today.
Yeah, very quiet.
Oh, you don't bite? I swear they won't come near you.
And it says venomous.
This is not real. He's not going to come get you.
Yep, so.
We have venomous, right. So he's venomous. That's because he has toxins that can harm us, other animals, but he has to inject them into us. If you're poisonous, you have to be ingested. Like, think about it. Mushrooms can be poisonous, but you can touch the mushroom and that might get on your skin, which might get absorbed into you, or if you eat it, and that can make you sick too. So if you eat something and it makes you sick, it's poisonous. If it tries to eat you, inject stuff into you, and it makes you sick, it's venomous. So that's the difference. So snakes, these guys are venomous. But like I said, all of the above, we try to make the rules for our animal friends, and they just don't want to stick to those rules.
Nature does not follow rules.
Not at all. So there's this guy. He's pretty.
Yeah,
So he's
very pretty.
Japanese grass snake, or I've read keelback snake or something like that. They eat toads, which toads are actually poisonous because you have to eat the toad or lick the toad in order to get sick, right? So he doesn't bite you. So they eat those toads, and they actually can keep the toxin, and there's like a gland behind their head that stores that toxin. And so if something tries to eat him, it can make that animal sick. So, and he is slightly venomous too. He doesn't have a strong toxin. So he's a little bit of both, which is kind of crazy when you think about it. And what's really cool, I went down the rabbit hole and I was researching this. This was really cool. So this snake, because he knows he's toxic, he's eating, the computer just went, there we go. So when he eats that toad, he knows he's got toxins in him. And so most snakes, when they see people, they run away and they try to hide or whatever. This one will rear up, show his little toxin glands and be like, I'm toxic. Don't touch me. And then there's the same snake that maybe was on an island that didn't have toads, was not toxic, and they would hide. They would do the hiding thing. But as soon as you started feeding them the toads, they learned they were toxic, and they started doing that behavior, the showing the neck thing. I thought that was so cool. I'm like, how do they know?
Oh, that's awesome.
How do they know they're toxic? I'm like, that's really cool. I mean, that's really, and they're still studying that. So that can be your guys' job, is to find out why. Yep. How do they know that stuff? That's just really cool. So I thought that was pretty cool. So some snakes are poisonous. So it is kind of true. It's also kind of false because poisonous and venomous are different. They're different things. All right. Let's see. My next one. Snakes are mostly tail. You guys think, is that true, false, or both?
Yeah, head and a tail. That's it.
Yep.
Nothing else to them.
Let's see. That's gross.
I like Steve's comment. Don't lick toads.
Yep, don't lick toads. And moral of the story, don't ever lick a toad. So what do you guys think? Snakes are all mostly tails. What do you think? Is that true or is that false?
Not seeing any.
No.
Not seeing any guesses. So maybe everybody's just.
All right, are we guys sleeping?
Curious.
All right. Let's see. Well, let's look at the skeleton. What do you guys
Joey
see?
says true. So Joey all.
Let's start the head.
There we go.
There we go. Go all the way down. What do we see?
It's a pretty good close-up. Can anybody identify?
Where does the tail begin? Can anybody tell me?
Can anybody tell me where the tail is?
Tail me. Oh, wrong way. I can't. It's backwards. So all these little things sticking off are ribs. So until, I'll go the wrong way again. Yeah, all the way down here, this is all body, because ribs are there to protect your kind of your heart, your lungs, your organs, that kind of thing. So that's why snakes have so many ribs, because their organs are so long. So where the ribs end is actually where the tail begins. So they are very short tails, believe it or not. So when we meet some of our live friends, basically we're the fun word cloaca, or basically where they poop, is where that tail ends. Right after that is where that tail ends. So they're tiny little bit of tail. So this is the tail. So just that little bit right there. So they're mostly body, very long. Everything is stretched out. The lungs are stretched out, the heart, the stomach, everything is just stretched out and long. Which is pretty cool.
Mary wants to point out the ribs again. Hold on.
Oh, yep.
All the little sidebars off of the main.
Right. So you see the vertebrae in the middle?
That's the spine.
And all those little things sticking off the sides.
And then,
there you go. Are those ribs? Can you see them?
Pretty impressive.
Let's see if I can go the right way this time again. So where we stop seeing those ribs, right there,
yeah,
is where the tail begins. Pretty cool, huh? Yeah. So that myth is false. Definitely not true. That misconception is definitely not true. So they are not mostly tail. All right. Let's do the next one. So snakes can dislocate their jaws. And dislocate means they can just break them and open them up really, really wide. What do you guys think? Is that true or false? I have to get my prop ready. Okay.
Got a couple of truths going in here.
Okay.
So there are people thinking that the snakes can dislocate their jaw.
Okay. It definitely looks like it. So when you see, why is this computer keep turning off? When you see a snake like that eating an egg, wow, you think, oh my God, yeah, they definitely can dislocate their jaw.
There's no way all that's connected, right?
Yeah, there's no way it's connected, anything like that. So crazy, right? Well, they actually don't disconnect or dislocate. It's just very stretchy. So they have special bones and ligaments and that kind of thing to make them very flexible. So if you guys feel your jaw right here, kind of like where your upper and lower jaw meets, you can open and close it. You can feel that kind of right there. So they have an extra kind of bone in there called the quadrate bone, and it allows them to open their jaw much further. Ooh. Like that. And then if you feel your chin right here, our chin, our lower jaw is solid, right? It's completely one piece. In a snake, it's two. And it's connected together by a ligament. So it stretches kind of like a rubber band. So, see if I can do this.
I'm excited.
It falls apart. So they have that quadrate bone that lets them kind of be able to drop that lower jaw down. And then the bottom ones, they have a ligament between the two, so it's not solid, and they can spread it out like that. And so they can open it. And they kind of use those bottom ones. Let me show this. I love watching a snake eat because it's pretty cool. It's like watching a train wreck. It's gross, but you can't take your eyes off it. It's just so cool. It's like, oh my God, it's fascinating. So they can literally open that up, and then they can move their lower jaw separately. So they can move this one and then this one and literally kind of walk their food. Oh, losing my rubber band, I'm gonna get smacked in the face in a second. So that walks that food down their mouth because they don't have hands to shove it down, right? So they use their mouths like a hand to kind of walk that food down their throat and into their stomach, and they can digest their food.
Yeah, I've got a lot of wows and cools, and so yeah. I think it's pretty awesome, and I think the rubber bands there is a great way to show that.
Right. Well, you guys ready to meet our new first friend? I think Miss Megan, you want to bring out
Little one.
the little one to show, so you can kind of see. Who do we have? Slinky today?
I believe so.
Slinky. Okay. So Slinky is one of our common snakes we have around here. You'll find out. And it's really kind of cool watching them. Like, I'll go back to this picture here. It's, like I said, it's that train wreck. It's so gross, but it's also kind of fascinating to look at. Because they can literally walk their jaws over and under and put their mouths. And so that's how they're able to eat something that's bigger than their head. And this is cool. This is he only eats eggs. He's an egg-eating snake. And they're one of the few snakes that don't have teeth. Most snakes have teeth, as you saw on that skull I had, those Burmese that python. So they don't have teeth. It just makes it easier for them to eat the eggs, and the teeth don't get in the way. All right, I'll get out of the way unless you.
So while he was in his bag, he actually knotted himself up a bit and just slipped my arm in there, and now he's continuing to knot himself up. All right, so this is Slinky. He is an eastern rat snake. He's pretty cool, pretty agile, but he's not. Another common black snake we have around here is the black racer. So he's not quite as fast or as small as them. But this friend, a lot of people call them black snakes, but they're not always black. So he has a sister that lives with him in his enclosure, and she is actually a little bit more of an olive green color. So yeah. And will you come this way so I can show them your pretty noggin?
Aw.
No, you've kind of got my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
There we go. No.
The camera shot. Usually they love the camera.
I know.
Right towards it.
Especially with
There she
the
goes.
microphone on top.
Yeah.
No. So that is that beautiful face and tongue.
Oh, and she's got a
There
good
you
view, so
go.
you guys can see that kind of line on the bottom jaw, where it she can kind of split her lower jaw and stretch it out. So you can really see it. So the jaws are just super flexible. She's showing you that right now.
Oh, yeah.
I love it when they yawn. You can really see it. It's really cool to see a snake yawn.
And another really cool thing is how they stick their tongues out. They don't open their mouth. They actually have a little hole right there. They get a little opening that their tongue just fits perfectly through. It's really cute. Really cute. And the computer went bye-bye again. Oh, it went bye-bye this
All
time.
right, I got it.
All right. So,
many technical issues.
yeah, this is just a technical day, isn't that there, Slinky? So again, with showing the skeleton, all of this is spine and ribs and a lot of muscle. So all of the really important organs, the heart, the lungs, the stomach, it's all in this main body part here. So
show the tail, where the tail starts.
yeah, if he will
Sorry, we're just gonna get fresh with you for a second there, buddy.
Okay. Can you release just a little? There we go. But I'm so comfortable. So he's just hanging on, exploring.
Megan's a big worm tree.
Apparently. He's like, no, I don't want you to have my tail. He's very determined not. There we go.
Let's see if I can help.
There we go.
So, where are we trying to find it?
It's like right there. Yeah.
So about right where my thumb is where the tail starts. So just this last little bit right here is tail. The rest of it's the body.
All of this is body, except for this last little part right here.
So tell them again what kind of snake you got.
Eastern rat snake.
There you go.
And you're not going up my shirt, please.
And why are they not called black rat snakes?
So they're not black because you can also see he's actually got a little bit of a pattern on him. There's not solid black. Oh, that's the microphone. And they also can be different colors. So I don't know if you guys have heard of corn snakes and how many variations there are for that species. but these guys can be an olive green color or even a yellowy color. So it's pretty cool, the variation. And the juveniles look a lot different than the adults.
A lot more patterns than that.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of people, when they're young, mistake them for venomous snakes.
Yeah, which is really sad because they're just little cuties. They just haven't got all their pigmentation yet.
Right.
And then you can see very white belly.
So I do want to apologize, guys. So we've had some technical issues with our Zoom account earlier, and so you may not have gotten the notification, the reminder, and sign in until late. So we do apologize for that, guys. Just wanted to throw that out there. Just got a reminder, Jeremy got in a little late, so because it's
well, welcome,
apologize, guys. Thank you for joining us.
Yes, thank you for sticking with us here, and Slinky, thanks everyone as well, because of course all of our animals, they like the public programs with all the guests here, but I think they're also starting to, get used to and kind of enjoy coming out and investigating the camera and the microphone, and definitely something for them to figure out. Yeah, so it's enrichment.
We like to give our animals, all our animals at the zoo, lots of different things and different experiences to kind of keep them mentally happy and physically healthy, all that good stuff. So that's why I think this enrichment. Him to get out, and hang out with Megan.
Yeah,
you know.
Yes.
Do you guys have any questions about Mr. Slinky? Right?
Yeah.
Yes. I can never remember. My old brain just does not to remember that. All right. Let's see. Let me.
All right.
Have anything in Q&A? Nope. Nothing in Q&A. Anything in chat?
So
this one.
One last close up for the noggin look. Oh.
All right. Mary, did you have a question?
Where are you going?
Oh, there it is in Q&A. How old can they get?
Oh, rat snakes. I am actually really uncertain of snake ages.
I do believe, this is just a guess, maybe our team of Googlers back there can tell us for sure.
Googlers.
But I think in the wilds, maybe 10 to 15.
That's the numbers I was thinking, but oh, Slinky, you're so cute.
I know.
Look at the nose. Oh, I just love this.
Yeah. And so we haven't Steve answer that yet? Or one of them?
In their natural homes, 15 years or so.
Yeah,
okay.
So in human care, probably a little bit longer because they don't have to worry about predators or anything like that.
Yeah.
And we did have another really cool question. So, and I think you did touch on it a little bit, which is always good to hear it again. Why do snakes have a hole in the middle of their closed mouth?
So what do they do all the time?
What is he doing? Put
Are
that head back up.
Are they rude? Is he being rude?
Don't know why.
What's he doing? Is he being rude, sticking his tongue out at you? There you go. There we go.
Yeah.
It's actually sensing what's around him.
Yep.
Right? So he's looking for food, looking for warmth, looking for the iPad apparently is producing heat as well.
Or me, I'm producing a lot of heat right now.
Yeah, there you go.
Smelling the camera.
So yeah, it's just an adaptation that lets them be able to use what senses they have. So their best sense, would be the smell, taste.
Okay, so Beth just let us know Q&A currently is, well, we just saw Q&A. I just got questions on Q&A, Beth, so I'm not sure.
Another device deactivated.
Yeah, so I can see them. I don't know what's going on. All kinds of craziness. Yeah.
I love that Jeremy says, get this snake a TV show.
That's right.
Yes, very much so. I agree.
Absolutely. He's ready for a close-up.
So yeah, that way they don't have to open their mouth every time they want to stick their tongue out. Their tongue just fits perfect in that hole.
Okay, so why is it called a rat snake? Well, what do you guys think?
Yeah.
You guys, that's an easy one. You guys can answer that one.
I'll give you a hint. We have a lot of these around my barn at home.
Goes along with what you think they eat.
You are just being a lovely arm piece today. Yes, you are.
Very active arm.
Yeah.
Arm person. Eats rats. There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, good job. So
that's a rats and mice.
their main diet is going to be rats and mice and small rodents like that. So, yes, it is.
Okay. I like this. Where is the snake's tum-tum at?
Tum-tum. I'm not exactly certain. It's going to be probably towards the middle-ish of the body, because similar to ours, we would have our heart and lungs.
Yeah, I meant to print something out and look that way.
Further towards the head, and then the stomach, and then the intestines would be closer to the tail.
Right. So they only have one lung.
Is that right? Yeah.
I think it's I can't remember if it's the left or the right lung. It's just really long.
How would they know if it's the left or the right lung?
I don't know. That's how, scientists know. I can't remember which one it is.
No.
But the other one is just kind of gone away, I guess you could say. Or it looks really small. What do they call it? Vestigial or whatever.
Okay, and I just want you guys to admire the muscle and the strength that this guy has, because, I mean, he was holding his neck out all by himself there.
Yeah.
So, pretty cool, though.
There's some strong ab muscles right there.
Oh, yeah. I'm not that good.
All right, Jeremy wants to know how big they can get.
So, I believe rat snakes can get 8.
You know what?
Well, I've seen some pretty good sized ones.
Yeah. So guys, this book is amazing. It's a guide to snakes in North Carolina. And let's see. Talks about all your non-venomous, small non-venomous, and venomous. So they're considered the large non-venomous.
Yeah.
Let's see. I think they're one of the areas. And it shows you, which is pretty cool, where they're found, how big they can get.
Everywhere. They're found everywhere.
All that. So about 7 to 8 feet they can max out at. And so this has it for all 37 snakes we have in North Carolina.
Yeah, that's a really cool
awesome
book.
It's an awesome book.
And they also have that information online.
And a cheat sheet. Yeah, there's a good website.
I can't remember the website, but yeah.
It's ncherps.org or something like that.
And now that Slinky has chilled out, I think his time is about up. It's like,
any other questions about the snake?
Snakes are very strong, Jeremy. You're right. Yeah.
Yes, they are. Okay. All right.
All right.
We say bye to Slinky.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Oh, now you wake up to say bye.
Yeah. Of course, you can't wave bye to you guys.
Oh.
Yeah, a little bit difficult to do. Which is awesome, right? All right. So, actually, I'm going to switch. I have a list of my stuff. I'm going to switch it up because I think this kind of brings it up. So, here's another misconception. Constrictors. And remember I said, this is a misconception that I was telling wrong, and which is kind of cool. So I've been learning so much. So that's why I love doing these programs, because I learn stuff and I research stuff to make sure I'm at least trying to give you guys correct information. And so I learned that I've been saying this wrong for a while. They did recent research on this. So constrictors suffocate their prey, which means they squeeze it so they can no longer breathe. Is that true, false, or both? You guys think? True? Need some truths. Science word. Oh, I like that. Yep. Constrictor is a science word. Constrictor means they squeeze. All right. Constrict or get smaller. So they squeeze their prey. So I think this is pretty cool. I don't have anything with it.
I got some truths in there.
Yeah,
so
some truths.
Jeremy and Nicole say true.
Yeah. So for years, I was telling everybody, oh yeah, everybody take a deep breath in, take a breath, hold it now, breathe into it, because that's how the snake, squeezes you until you can't breathe anymore. I was wrong. It's not the suffocation that kills when they constrict. It is the closing off of blood vessels. So it has to do with the circulation. So they put so much pressure on that rat or whatever they're eating, they squeeze it and they squeeze off the blood vessels, and it's so strong that the heart of that rat or whatever it is cannot force the blood. It's too strong, or that squeeze is too strong that it can't circulate the blood. So the heart can't push the blood through its veins because that squeezing is so strong. And so therefore, no blood or oxygen gets to the brain, the heart, the liver, those major organs that it needs to live. And so that's actually what kills it, because they were noticing, okay, well, if it was suffocation takes several minutes. It can take minutes, but they're noticing that the animals are actually dying much faster. So they're like, well, maybe there's something else going on. And so they did research. They actually put all these different things inside a rat that was anesthetized or put to sleep and then they fed it to a python or a constrictor snake. And they were able to see what was happening on the inside, and they found that the heart was literally stopping first before they suffocated. So, see, I learned something new all the time. So that was a misconception. So some of the things that I've been telling you today, science may prove me wrong, and there may be something else. They learned something else. So misconceptions are always happening, and they're always changing, which is actually kind of cool. So we're learning new things all the time. Even an old dog like me can learn new things.
If you're not learning something new every day, you're not living right.
There you go. Absolutely. So I found that very fascinating. There's a really cool research paper out there you can look up and learn about how they did it. And there's actually a video, I watched that too, of how they were able to do it and get the information from that rat. So it's pretty cool. All right. Any questions about that? Let's see. Science is cool. Oh, it's a tool, right? It's learning. Yeah. It's always learning. Love it. Absolutely. That's Steve. So, all right. My next misconception about snakes. So, you can tell the age of a rattlesnake by counting the number of rattles or buttons. Isn't that cute? These are called buttons. Yeah. So, what do you guys think? Is that true? False? Somewhat true? Both?
Counting the rattles can tell age. Oh, Jeremy says true.
True. Okay. You guys hear that? So, you guys think. So, it is false. That's be like counting the length of your hair, right? See how old you are? Because we cut our hair. So the rattles break off. Some of us don't. So we cut our hair, or sometimes it breaks off, or falls out. Right? So same with them. So they add a button on every time they shed. So when they're young, they shed a lot because they're growing. So they have to grow and they have to get get new skin as they keep growing. And so they add a button on. So they add more buttons on when they're young. But as they get bigger and older, they don't shed as much. They maybe shed once or twice a year. And so they're only adding a button on then. And they get long, but they break off eventually, kind of like, your fingernails too break off also. So before that dies. So that is not true. So I have seen some very long rattles on rattlesnakes, some old rattlesnakes, but they're probably older than the number of buttons that are on there. So no. And you don't want to get that close. Yeah, all the rattles on a rattlesnake. That would be actually very smart. Next misconception. Snakes are deaf. Snakes cannot hear. What do you guys think? True? False? What do you think?
Jeremy, Nicole say false.
Right? I like that. Excellent. Right. Thank you guys. So they can actually hear. A lot of people thought they were deaf, but they can hear. They don't have outer ears like we do. So you don't have anything on the outside, but we have outer ears, and then they, collect the sound and then funnel it into our inner ears. And that's where all the magic happens, where we can sense, hear what's going on and process it, and it goes to our brain so we can further process and know what we're hearing. And they still have inner ears. So this one is an ear of a mammal like us. This is a snake's inner ear. And it's actually attached to kind of their lower jaw. And so they feel vibrations through the ground and their lower jaw. And they can actually hear sounds through the air too. But they don't hear as well as we do. So we hear in a really broad range. We can hear high notes, low notes, that kind of thing, and everything in between. They can tend towards the low notes that they can hear in the air. So if you want to you want to sneak up on a snake, just walk really slowly and talk in a high pitch. Okay?
I'm so glad this is being recorded.
I know. But if you want a snake to hear you, you can walk really loudly and maybe play a cello. I don't know, whichever you want to. So yeah, right. Hopefully you'll remember that. You'll never forget it now.
Squeak or play a cello. Those
Yeah,
are
there
your
you go.
options.
Yep. So if you want to not hear you. Whew. All right. Let's see. What do we got? We did all that one, we did that one. Oh, all right. Miss, you're on, Megan. We
Okay.
got our last friend.
Okay.
Because the last one, or the next, not the last, we got two more for you. So our next one, I got two more. No, here we go. Oh, keep going. You're good. Top one down. You keep going. So, snakes or slimy? What do you guys think? Is that true or is that false? All right. If anybody's out there, how many of you guys have ever touched or felt a snake like that? See who has. Anybody's ever touched a snake? Can tell us for certain if they're slimy or not. Let's see. Anybody out there? False. I have two of my. Oh, nice. I hope you haven't 2 ate at my house. I'm assuming you mean you have 2 at your house, and you're not eating your snakes, right? So right. So you need some help, Megan? So we got a big guy coming out. I don't think if you guys have joined us, I don't know if we've had Freckles out for you guys. I don't remember.
I don't remember having him so far.
Yeah.
Go around, buddy.
Yeah. Sometimes it takes 2 people. Oh, he's got them. He's a big one. He's a big guy. Yeah. There we go. Oh.
Like,
I'll get another one.
on.
There we go.
Hi.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
So this is Freckles. He is a Maclass python, and he looks a little bit on the shiny side. You guys can kind of see. I'm looking. Kind of see his iridescence a little bit.
Get it closer. Let's see.
Yeah.
Get it close. Oh yeah, you can see that really well.
Trying to make sure
Hold
he's
it up.
chill. Hold
Yeah.
on, I got this. He's like squirming around a
Right.
bit.
He looks kind of wet, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He looks a little wet and slimy.
Extra.
But is he? Touch him. Oh. Is he slimy?
No slime.
No.
No slime.
Dry.
Way to go, buddy. No slime.
So when would a snake be slimy?
So he was kind of slimy the other day.
Yeah.
Because he went for a nice swim. He likes to be in the water. Maclass pythons are actually more of a water snake. Yeah. I don't think he's been on a program in a while.
I don't think so either.
He's like super excited. Yeah. So these guys do like to be in the water, and that's kind of why he's got this awesome coloration with the brown on the top. He does have a lighter underside, just a little bit, but that shininess also helps with the water reflectiveness, and so that he can camouflage really good in any kind of swamps or pond areas.
You were taking care of him the other day? Did you find him?
Yeah, no, I actually went looking for him. I was helping out, taking care of our program animals, and I started panicking because he wasn't in his box. He wasn't on his log. And I was like, where's Freckles? He was in his water tray. He was totally camouflaged. Everything was submerged except for his head. And he was just staring at me, like watching me panic like a dork.
Too, right?
Yeah. And so he has the same facial and structural setup that Slinky does, and he's very interested in the microphone. So with that hole in the middle of his...
Jeremy says like camouflage.
Yeah, like camouflage. Yeah, exactly.
Perfect camouflage.
Yeah, not slimy at all.
Not venomous.
Nope.
Not venomous.
Nope.
We would not be holding him.
I am not trained to do anything with venomous animals, and I don't think I ever will be. So yeah. Is that?
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about? Well, let's for the last misconception. What does it say, Miss Megan? You can read that, and we can ask.
So
we'll ask Freckles since he can hear us.
So Mom and Dad really don't like snakes. Like, they really don't. And I try to convince them that snakes are not out to get them. And, nobody believes me. So what do you guys think? Do you think the snakes are just out to get you, like, constantly hunting down humans?
Jeremy says no.
Yes. Jeremy, I like your answer.
That is correct. Steve's got a ball python pet at home.
He would. Yeah, so, yeah, that would be my mom.
Joey says no. You're right.
No. Snakes are not out to get you, Miss Gwendolyn. So snakes aren't. They really aren't. They're just curious. They're trying to survive. They're trying to eat their meals. They don't want to eat you.
Freckles, do you want to get them? Or you have to get them?
Are you chasing every human you can find? Because you just want to get all the loving?
I don't think so. They are silly snakes.
No, so snakes are not out to get us. They're just living.
Yeah, exactly. And we're too big, right?
Yeah.
So remember, they can eat something as big as their head, and Megan's a little bit bigger than Freckles' head. So we know she's too big, and it would take too much energy, and it would probably kill them.
Yeah.
Try to eat someone our size.
Exactly.
So they're not that dumb. Now, will they try to protect themselves? What do you guys think? Will snakes try to protect themselves if they feel threatened? If somebody's going to step on them or pick them up, they know that's not a rat.
That's not dinner. He's like using all of his muscles right now, just kind of moving closer to it.
Yeah, you're right. So yes, they will protect themselves if they have to. And it's kind of a last resort. All right. Oh, come on, we can go hang out front.
Okay, yeah.
Towards the end, we can kind of see.
Come on, Freckles.
We'll share.
Yay!
So they are not out to get you. They don't. That's kind of their last resort. They will do all kinds of different things. I always hear that for every one snake you see, there were probably hundreds that you didn't see.
Exactly.
So their first thing is to get away from you. And so that's why they're listening. That's why their jaws on the ground, always listening. And, back in the day, before humans came around, they were listening for, bison or elk or big animals that would step on them and harm them. And that's what they're listening for. And they would warn those animals, like a rattlesnake would rattle and let them know. A lot of our snakes that are non-venomous snakes will, like the black rat, like Slinky, would actually shake their tail and leaves, and it sounds like a rattle. They'll hiss.
They're trying to be big and bad and scared.
So yeah, I love the hognose snake we have around here.
Goodness.
Will make itself look bigger, almost looks like kind of like a cobra, like make its throat look bigger, and will make all kinds of noise. And if that doesn't work, he'll flip over and play dead. And so it's really cool.
Tongue out and everything.
Yeah, and then if you flip him back over, he'll flip back over and play dead. Which is like, you're not actually dead if you can do that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. So there's lots of different defenses they will do before they bite. Now, if you startle them, like remember, sometimes you might be walking, they're used to hearing, like I said, a 1,000-pound animal, and that's what they're listening for. And maybe a 70-pound kid doesn't make as much vibration. And so you're more likely to startle a snake and accidentally step on them. And that's usually what happens is when you startle a snake and you step on them, or 9 times out of 10, somebody is not leaving a snake alone. They're picking it up, they're poking at it, they're doing something. And that's usually when people get bit, right? And they're protecting themselves.
Yeah.
So
that snake is not after you. He's trying to get his way back to his hole, to his
he's
little
like, I just want
family.
to eat my rats and my mice. I want to eat my whatever it is, my pests, keep them in control.
Yeah.
They're a vital part that food web, that food chain.
What is the statistic for every mouse or rat these guys eat? They eat also hundreds of ticks or fleas
yeah.
So even not just the mice, even if you're saying, oh, I could live with a few mice, just get rid of the snakes.
Yeah.
What are the ticks?
Yeah, the spread diseases.
Yeah.
And the mice do spread diseases too. Absolutely. So
It's like, oh, there's stuff in that part of me.
So yeah, so they really do. They're an important part of that food chain. I like to think of it as that food web is like a car, right? So it's all connected in order to get it run nice and smoothly. It's, you need all those working parts, all the different parts of that food web. And so if you took snakes out of that food web, let's say you took, a snake out of that food web, that'd be like pulling the gas line. Your car can't run that way because they are keeping other animal populations in check, and they're also providing food for other animals too.
Exactly.
So super, super part. So everything below them it would impact, and everything above them would impact. So important part of that food web. So really awesome part of the food web. Do you guys have any questions about freckles or anything? Let me get to the Q&A.
I was gonna see if this would help with this. Gives you a little bit of light on. Okay, no, not the microphone. Freckles. Okay, hold on. All right, well, we'll go this way. So you can kind of see his shiny iridescence. This dude is funny.
He's funny. He's like, I really like this microphone.
Yeah, so you can kind of see
like
his,
a mouse, but it looks like it. And snakes actually have decent sight.
his super shininess, guys. Super awesome, beautiful shine.
He's gonna.
Oh, you've actually tried this before on me, Freckles.
Oh my goodness. Taking down the house, Freckles.
Yep. He said I'm big enough. That kitty looks inviting.
Yep.
That's what we call the microphone, not.
Yeah, that's the cover of the microphone.
I know, bud.
All right. You guys have any questions about snakes or Freckles? Yes, Freckles is very curious.
Extremely.
Yep. No, I don't see anything.
I just like hanging out with Freckles.
All right. He is very curious. He is pretty awesome. All right, guys. Well, we'll let you go, and we will go save some snakes. Hopefully, you guys will. You may not have liked snakes before, but I hope you have a new respect for them.
Yeah.
And we'll just leave them alone. That's the best thing you can do.
Key word. Respect.
Just leave them alone because they're an important part of our ecosystem. So we will let you guys go, and hopefully you'll join us next week, 3:00. We're doing bats. We're gonna learn about bats next week as a part of our Halloween month. All right, guys.
Hey.
Everybody take care. We'll see you guys next Thursday.
Bye.
Bye.